Okay. In the last class, we were discussing on industrial disputes, various kinds of industrial disputes. So, how an industrial dispute occurs, and what are the causes of industrial disputes? There are mainly three causes for any industrial disputes, like psychological causes, institutional causes, then economic causes. And we have seen what are the effects, or what are the effects of the industrial dispute once any type of industrial dispute occurs, whether it is between the employer and employee, or among the employers itself, or among the employees. In any case, what are the effects, or how it affects the employer, or how it affects the employee, and how it affects the society. Then we have seen the methods of how to settle the industrial disputes. So there were three methods: the collective bargaining, conciliation and mediation, and finally arbitration. So till then we were discussing. Now we will see what are trade union. So in any sector, even in the production sector or any other sector also, we can see various types of trade unions or labor union. So these are mainly meant for organizing the workers in order to safeguard their needs, or maintaining or improving the conditions of the various workers or employees. So mainly in India, we can say about 17,000 registered trade unions are there. So some among them are we know that is INTUC, International Trade Union Congress, then AITUC, All India Trade Union Congress by CPI, then CITU, Confederation of Indian Trade Union, then HMS, Hindustan Mazdoor Sangh, etc. So there are many trade unions available. So basically, this is an association of the workers. So this is the association of workers mainly for the purpose of maintaining and improving the condition. That is, this is basically a association of the workers. Association of the workers mainly for the purpose of maintaining and improving the condition of the workers. So we have already seen there are many problems, or maybe many disputes because of some differences in the or any communication gap arises. So in order to avoid that or safeguard the needs of the workers, these trade unions were used. Now, what is the main prerequisite of a or how we can register for a trade union? So if there is a minimum of 7 or more workers in any establishment, then a trade union can be formed, basically. So so this trade union, so in any case, this trade union will be we can say it is an so this is a powerful instrument. So this can be considered as a powerful instrument in the sense that it can be used to promote and safeguard the interest of the employees, to promote and safeguard the interest of the workers. So now we can say the trade union, whichever trade union may be, it is a powerful instrument because this is actually needed to promote and safeguard the interest of the workers. The workers will have a have the ability to safeguard their interest. So for any trade union concerned, the success can be told, or success of the trade union mainly depends on certain factors. These are, so the success of the trade union. So the success of the trade union depends on mainly the social, political, and economical. So social, political, and economical conditions. So for the any trade union, the success of which will be depending on these parameters: the social conditions, political conditions, which are the prevailing political conditions in the country, or the economical condition. So these are about the trade union. Now we'll see what are the main objectives. So we can say, so the main aim or the objectives of any trade union, or the trade union is meant for these things. First of all, to protect and promote the interest of the workers, the primary thing. Protect and promote the interest of the workers. So workers are having many demands, or their interests are to be safeguarded, or the interest should be protected. So this is the main aim, or the first aim of the trade union. So trade union helps in achieving this. Next, to ensure good health, safety, and welfare of the workers. Ensure good health, safety, and welfare standards. So to ensure the good health, safety, and welfare standard of the workers. Next, third one, to ensure the worker gets the benefit as per the rule. So there will be a set rule or standard rules, or the terms and conditions will be there for any work, or particular work, or any job. So we have to ensure whether they are getting the proper benefits out of the rule. So that is the third point, to ensure that workers get the benefit as per the rule. Next, to protect the jobs of the workers against layoff, strike, etc. Suppose if the interest of the worker is not met or the demand is not met, then there will be a chance of taking part in a strike or layoff. So in that case, sometimes he may lose his job. So at that point of time, the union will involve in that. So with the help of union, you'll be able to protect the job of the particular worker. So that is the fourth point, to protect the job of the workers, to protect the job of the worker against layoff, strike, etc. Next, to ensure the worker gets the good respect and human treatment from the foreman, manager, etc. That is from the top management or from the top hierarchy, or the personnel from the top position, the employers, etc., managers, etc., in order to ensure that they are getting good respect or the human treatment, good human treatment. If the treatment is bad or worse, then the union can involve in that, and it can modify that or help in protecting the workers against the ill treatment. So that is the thing, to ensure that the workers get good respect and human treatment from foreman, supervisors, managers, etc. Now one more, to improve the economic status of the worker and to provide the legal assistance to the workers. So economical status means relating to the money value or the aspects related to money. അതേപോലെ then പിന്നെ പറഞ്ഞിരിക്കുന്നത് legal assistance in case of any legal assistance required, it can be provided by the union. They know the legal things, so he can do things in the proper channel or move in a proper channel in order to safeguard their needs. So that is the thing, to improve the economic status of the worker and to provide legal assistance to the workers. So these are the main objectives or aim of any trade union. First of all, to protect and promote the interest of the workers. Then to ensure good health, safety and welfare standard of the workers. Then comes to ensure the workers getting benefits as per the rule or the terms and conditions, whether they are getting the right benefits per rule. Then to protect the jobs of the worker against any hartal or strike, layoff, etc. Hartal alato. To ensure the workers get good respect and human treatment from the foreman, manager, or whatever maybe from the top management. Then finally, to improve the economic status of the worker and also to provide the legal assistance to the workers. So these are the main objectives or aim of any trade union. Now we will see the function of the trade union, how the trade union functions, or what are the main functions of any trade union. Functions of the trade union. So first one, securing the interest of the employees. Securing the interest of the employees. So this union, any union, mainly it improves the economic condition, as we have already seen. It improves the economic condition of the worker by how it is being done or how it is being improved, mainly by representing their cases. They will the respective representative from the union or the trade union will represent these cases of the employees to the employers directly, and they provide increase in the wages, granting sick leave, or giving the compensation in case of any accidents, etc., etc. So mainly what happens is securing the interest of the employees, so or the demands of the employees. That means the employees or the workers are having certain demands, or they have some interest, and these interest or the demand are being represented by the union to the employers or the management level. It will be represented. So some of the examples we have mentioned, that is regarding increase in wages, sometimes increasing in wages, or granting sick leaves, or giving some compensation in case of any accident, like that. If in any cases like this can be represented by the union, trade union representatives. So this is the first function. Next, securing facilities for workers. Securing facilities for workers. So facilities, that means actually the top level management or the managers or the industrialists, anyone, they are only thinking about the profit, and they are not taking into consideration of the their workers. Usually in the usual trend is like that. That means the top level management or the top level or personnel, anyone usually they will have an attitude that the profit is their main important objective function. So the case of the working or any working condition regarding the whether the proper working condition is there or not, they will not be bothered about that, or they will take a least consideration to the environment of the workers. So these facilities have to be given to the workers, or it should be safeguarded. So in that conditions, the trade union members or the representatives of the trade union, they will fight on behalf of the workers, and they will see whether the facilities have been appropriate or requisite facilities have been provided by the management or not. So they will be fighting for that. So that is the second function, that is securing facilities for the workers. Now, one more. Establishing contact between the worker and the employers. Establishing contacts between workers and employees. Workers and employers. Employers. Okay. So this is the last one, that is a to ensure a good communication between the both the workers and the employers. So there should be they will arrange some meeting, face-to-face meetings. So thereby we can establish the good contact between the employees and employer, or the worker and the employers. So if there is any small issues, then it can be resolved at that time. So that is establishing contact between the worker and the employees. So these are the three functions of a trade union. First one, securing the interest of the employees, then securing the facilities for the workers, and finally establishing contact between the workers and employers. Now, what are the merits and demerits of a trade union? So there are many advantages, and also some disadvantages are there for the trade union, that we will see. First of all, the merits, which are the merits of a union. That this is also already discussed. We have, anyway, we will say the first one. This will promote the industrial peace and stability. Promote industrial peace and stability. Because in case of any dispute occurring between, whether it is between the employers and among themselves, or employees and employer, whatever may be, so the trade union members or the trade union itself can be helpful to solve many issues, or any disputes can be minimized. So by the usage of this trade union, will be able to promote industrial peace and stability. Then regarding the condition of the worker, we have already mentioned, that is improving the working condition and also the wage of the workers. Improving working condition and wages of the workers. And one more, the workers, any worker, they have some rights according to the prevailing laws. There are many laws, and the people may not be knowing that, or the workers are unaware of that. So they will be giving general awareness. So this union will be helpful to bring the general awareness among the workers about their rights. So it will help to bring general awareness. Awareness among the workers. Among the workers about their rights. Okay, so these are the main merits or advantages of any trade union. Now we'll see what are the demerits. So what are the disadvantages of any trade union? The first thing is there is a chance of exploiting the situation by some political parties for their selfish needs, and that may result in or exploit the industrialization. It may affect the industrialization. So that is the first thing. That is, it may be exploited by the political parties. So any trade union, you can see they are backed by the political parties. So there is a chance of exploitation by these political parties for their selfish needs. Political parties for their selfish needs. So for their selfish needs, there will be a chance of getting exploited. Next, two, sometimes in the case the union, trade union, there is a chance that everyone can join, or sometimes in some case, some may not be joining the union. So most often what we can see is the benefits. The benefit of the union are always, sometimes, maybe, or most probably restricted to the union members only. There may be a chance. It's not that always it is like that, but most of the time it will be happening like that. That is the benefit of the union will be restricted to the union members only. So that is the another disadvantages. That is the benefit of the union. Sometimes restricted to union members only. So these are the main demerits or disadvantages of a trade union. Now, the last portion, that is the workers' participation in management. That means workers' participation in the management. It is the participation of the non-managerial employees in the decision-making process of the organization. That means the employees or the workers are given a participation, or they are included in the decision making processes. So they will get a feeling that they are working in their own institution, or the institution is their own. So they will have a good or positive attitude towards the institution or the firm. Ultimately, they will have a good efficiency in working, because they have a feeling that it's their own need, or the objective of the company is the objective of himself. So the objectives can be merged together if they have a participation in the decision. So the decision, what all decisions can be made, they are also having some participation. So that is the workers participation. So it can also be called as labor participation or employee participation, whatever may be. So we'll see what are the main objectives of the workers participation, or aim of workers participation, how or why this workers participation, or the worker or worker is participated in the decision making process. Objectives. First one, in order to motivate the workers, motivate the workers. So suppose you, the worker is having a participation in the management, then it is a motivation for him to work in a good manner, because it is his decision, or a part of his decision is also taken into account. So it will give a motivation to the worker itself. Then there will be a good relation, to create a good relation among the employer and employee. That is to create cordial and harmonious relation between the worker and employer. Then to make managing the subordinates easy, make managing subordinates easy. So everyone is having a particular role in the decision making process. So the representatives will be there. So their needs are being safeguarded, or they have a good attitude. So it will make the managing or the subordinates will be easier task. Next, to minimize the grievances and also reduce the disputes. Minimize grievances, and thereby reducing the disputes, industrial disputes. So there will not be, or there will be least grievances, because the workers are having the participation or involvement in the decision making process. So almost 30-40% of the disputes will be reduced or prevented by adopting the workers participation. And finally, one more, that is the main thing, that is it satisfies the workers. In order to satisfy the workers, how? By making them feel that they have a particular voice in the management or the decision making process. To satisfy the workers, making them feel that they have a voice in the management. Voice in the management. Okay, so these are the main objectives of any workers' participation in the management. Okay, so these are about the fourth module. So in the next class, we will start the fifth module. So attendance